You heard me say once a Clinch Mountain boy, always a Clinch Mountain boy. I look at that one, I look at this one. You talk about miles down the road we've done. Great to see them. And when I said an all-star group, I mean an all-star group. Every single one of them, just fantastic musicians, world-class musicians. They love this festival. That's the singing bus driver, Leonard Stacy, right there in the house. The Bluegrass Sheriff. Well, okay. I'll go with it, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome to the 54th Ralph Stanley's Memorial Day Weekend Festival from Mount Sterling, Kentucky, and all points in between, Fitz Stiem. Look out.
Spring so much. It's always good to be back on Smith Ridge. We'll thank Ralph too and all his staff for having us back.
Yes.
We've been here, I don't know, 8 or 9 times now, I guess, and it's like hallowed ground when you play music to be able to be here. So we always appreciate the invite to come back. Appreciate you all taking time out of your fun day to make sure you catch our show. We're going to do a new song for you now that a lot of you know Steve Sparkman is an excellent banjo player, but he's an excellent songwriter too. And we used to do a couple of, or at least one of his songs, and today we're going to do one you might not have heard. But we'll do this with Steve if you'll kick us off on Lonesome Night. I told you he was a good songwriter. Turn the fiddle up if you would. In the monitor anyway. In the monitor. Well, they might want to hide it out there too. I don't know. We want to get monitor. We're getting that. Raise it up, right? Thanks so much. That was a fun song to do. We're working to get a little better at it so we can speed it up some so it won't be so draggy. So maybe next time you see it, we won't play it so slow. But that is a fun song. Yeah, Rick says we're working on getting a good tenor sound. I don't think we need to worry about that. We'll do another one fairly new to you, written by the great Ed Hamilton. Steve, if you'll kick us off on Regina. What's that?
Go Kearney.
Oh, we're trying. We're working hard. We're having fun. We hope you all are having fun, because we're having a blast.
Yeah.
So we hope you're enjoying it as well. We're gonna do you a few gospel songs. We always like to make sure we include at least a couple every time we get to play. We're going to do one, it's always been one of my favorites. My dad and uncle used to play several years ago, played up here many times. Used to get on stage as a teenager. It's really none of your business how long ago that was that I was a teenager. But it was a really long time. We were over the hill, we weren't up here, we were down in the hollow. That was 40 years ago probably. But anyway, this is a song that Russell, my uncle, wrote, and we always really like to do this song, and people seem to like it with. It's called Lost Sinner's Prayer. soul, peace in my mind. He said me when I was born, he said me when I was born. Jesus, I know he's mine. He is mine, he is mine. Joy in my soul, peace in my mind. He is mine, he is mine. Jesus, I know he's mine. He's coming back again, he's coming back again. Joy in my soul, peace in my mind. He's coming back again, he's coming back again. Jesus, I know he's mine. He is mine, he is mine. Joy in my soul, peace in my mind. He is mine, he is mine. Jesus, I know he's
Thank you so much. We love the gospel songs and what they mean. We're grateful to get to be here on the mountain to do these songs. And this next song, a good friend of mine who's recently passed wrote this song several years ago. It's just another great example of God's love for us. And it really, to me, is just a great example of love and forgiveness to all of mankind. So it's called I'll Ever Serve Him. I hope you enjoy it.
Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is the King of Kings. Jesus is the Lord of Lords, and I will ever serve Him. Jesus came to earth one day, died to take all my sins away, rose again on the third day, and I will ever serve Him. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is the King of Kings. Jesus is the Lord of Lords, and I will ever serve Him. If I wait on God and pray, He renews my strength each day. He will lead me in His way, and I will ever serve Him. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is the King of Kings. Jesus is the Lord of Lords, and I will ever serve Him. Yes, I will ever serve Him. Thank you so much. That's a great song. And that's just a fun song to play. What? I'm sorry? Yeah, we'll do you another one here that my Uncle Russell wrote many years ago. And while we're rocking and rolling just a little bit here, called Heavenly Highway, we'll let Steve get that old banjo in tune. You like it? Yes, sir. Lay into it. It's a heavenly highway that leads to the shore. But forever and be happy forevermore. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. That's a great little song. John, do you feel like singing anything?
Well, I don't know. Is this mic on?
It is.
Check 1, 2.
Jealous Heart. What was it? Old
Old
House.
House.
Old
I ain't
House
done
and
that.
Jealous Heart.
I ain't done that in a long
He ain't done that since it was a new house.
If I can remember it. What did they Old House?
Oh, I know it.
Got to get to see, I guess. I can't sing like I used to. First time I ever come up here with Ralph, I could knock the treetops down, but as you can see, my voice has got way low. So I took up playing more fiddle. And
Now you just got to chop it down at the trunk.
I always like to say hello to all the people I met during my Ralph tenure. A lot of you I've seen ain't got to speak to you, but some of them has come up, and I've got to meet and greet with a few people that I know and think a world of. They know who they are because I've shook their hands, and this is a good thing about coming up here is the association, you know, the fellowship with all your friends. So if I don't get to speak to you, I want to tell you all that I know all through the years. I love every one of you, and keep coming up here, supporting this festival. And when you hear a fenced in coming, we're fenced in because we got day jobs. We don't play we play when we can.
That's right.
So, but when you hear a fenced in coming to your town, just come right on out and we'll try to entertain you. And keep on supporting bluegrass. And we're going to hush and do Old House if I can remember it. If I forget it, then you have to forgive me. If I forget, you gotta forgive. So we forget and forgive. There's an old house that once was a mansion on a hill overlooking the town. But time has left a wreckage where once where were beauty. Soon the old house will tumble down when the leaves start to fall in autumn and the rain starts to drip from the trees. There's an old man who walks in the garden. His head in his bow in memory.
just heard if you could turn the banjo up a little bit more in the monitor, that would be great.
I want to do that for my old buddy Leonard Stacy out here.
Yeah, right here in the
Leonard
front.
Stacy, my friend.
Yeah. Steve, did you write that book review?
Yeah.
I thought so. See, I told you, he's a good instrument writer, songwriter, good guitar player.
Yeah.
We're gonna slow it down and do you a song that my dad and uncle wrote many years ago for their love of the Stanley Brothers and the influence they had on them. They wrote it when Ralph was still alive back in the 70s to recognize that Carter had passed away and left Ralph here to carry on the name. And they kind of understood, being brothers, what it would be like to lose one. And so we were singing it a little bit, and we changed the words when Ralph passed away. We changed the last verse to just kind of signify that we had lost Ralph as well. And every time we come up here, we like to make sure that we do that, just as our honor of the Stanley Brothers and what they've meant to bluegrass over the years. And it's really hard to do with that picture up there, and they're staring back at you. If you haven't looked down here on the front of your building there, come down here and look, and you'll see Ralph and Carter smiling at you. And hopefully after we get done with this song, we haven't made them stop smiling. But it's a great song. They did a great job with it. We actually recorded this several years ago, and we hope you all enjoy it. The Stanleys will sing again. Way back in the hills of beautiful Virginia, where Carter and about playing it at the bottom of the holler, and I was actually thinking about that when we were playing the song and sung the second verse twice. So you didn't even get to hear the third verse, but I tell you a good way to hear it is we've got it on CD. Right back there. No, I'm just kidding, but I did mess up. Rick, you ready to sing a train song? Give me a little bit of a break here.
Any Hank Williams fans in the house? We like old Hank. Senior, and I always like to do this from old buddy Matthew Madden back here on the bass. He's from Olive Hill, Kentucky, and Olive Hill was a big train town. It was a big train town back in the day before they took the trains out, and he's a train buff, Matthew. If you need to know anything about the trains that run through the Eastern Seaboard, you ask Matthew. He'll tell you what times they run, the names of them.
He's hoboed on just about every one of them.
Right.
He's full of useless knowledge, he said. I don't agree with that.
Not right now.
This is a good old song that was recorded way back. We like to do it for you today. It's called Pan American. Stories about fast trains. Now I'll tell you about one old southern folks have seen. She's a bride of the Southland. Listen to her whistle scream. It's that Pan American on her way to New Orleans. Cincinnati, headed down the Dixie line. When she passes the Nashville Tower, you can hear her whistle whine. Stick your head out the window, feel that southern breeze. You're on that Pan American, on your way to New Orleans. Yourself a ticket on the Pan American Queen. Go to Nashville, Montgomery, the capital of Alabama. You can see them all and go to New Orleans bound. This is Steve Sparks. Cincinnati, headed down the Dixie line. When she passes the Nashville Tower, you can hear her whistle whine. She can head out the window, feel that southern breeze. You're on that Pan American, on your way to New Orleans. Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much. That's a great job. They just give us a sign for two more.
Peace
A
sign.
peace sign. Peace to all of us. Peace sign. Two more. All right. That's what you want to do. Anything in particular you want to do on this last one? We'll skip down on something?
Try that
Bluegrass Angel?
boy's got a new song.
Let's
They
do
was
that.
working on backstage a while ago, and I think they ought to try it for you. It's a
Yeah.
good little song.
Nothing like working on one backstage and then coming out here and giving it a try, right? Yeah, we got quite a bit of nerve. We don't care. We don't care. We'll do the best we can. I've even cheated and got some of the words written down here on this piece of paper, so if you see me. I don't care. I don't care. John, you remember the kickoff you worked on while ago?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Just kick it off, you'll like it.
I'm called Plum Blank. 1 to 5, that could be 15 or 51. Oh, I got it now.
Yeah, I knew it would. I thought that God had all of the angels said a little bit ago. Again, I want to say it was great to be here. Thank you so much for sitting out there listening to us for the last 45 minutes or so. We've got our table set up right back here to my right just a little bit if you'd like to come by and visit. Mind Made Bluegrass Festival, Rick. That's Rick asked where we were going to be fairly local here in a couple of weeks. That's driving distance, Mind Made Bluegrass Festival. If you haven't already, just check us out. That might be Knott County, I'm not sure, but check us out on Facebook if you haven't already. Just search Fenced In and you'll find us, and that'll help you keep up with us. But if you do get a chance, come by and talk to us. We like to talk. We have the gift of gab, and we don't care if we sell anything necessarily. Don't feel like you have to. Just come by and talk with us a little bit. We'll be heading out of here fairly soon, but we'll hang around for a couple hours or so to get to visit. So come back and talk with us soon. Again, thank you to Ralph, too, and his wonderful staff for having us. I see Tony's walking down here. Thank you, Tony, for walking down here. I know you guys have been busy this week, and we appreciate the hard work you're doing. We're going to do a new one as well. Anybody ever heard Sally is a Pretty Girl? All right, she was, and you're about to hear about it. If we don't get to talk to you, you guys have a good rest of your day, and you be careful going home, and we'll see you around. Goodbye, and God bless each and every one of you.
say this. I see you smiling, I see you laughing, clapping, and dancing. You want to hear something else from Fenced In?
thank you so much. We wasn't really ready to quit anyway. Don't tell nobody. We wanted to do one more, so thank you. Like we said just a couple of minutes ago, we'll be at the Mind Made Bluegrass Festival. That's in a couple of weeks in Knott County, I believe it is. So if you're around and don't already have a festival to go to, come on out and see us there. Again, check out the Fenced In Facebook page, and that'll kind of help you keep in mind what we got going on. Again, come back there and visit with us a little bit.
Give Mr. Rick May a nice hand on the mantle, would you?
That's right. I don't know if you guys know Rick or not, but we didn't either until about an hour and a half ago. Well, John knew him. I think Matthew knew him, right? But, we just met him too, but he's stepped right in and helped us today, and we appreciate that. He's done a fine job. We'll do another one that's fairly new for us to do. Hope you enjoy this one. It's called Someday You'll Want Me Back.
Wonderful job, fellas. I tell you, Fenced In, ladies and gentlemen.